Hey everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot. I'm going to be doing your daily dose for Sunday, February 21st, which means that I'm choosing to do one today. So here we go. I'm going to shuffle the cards. I'm using what am I using? Did I forget the name of it? I'm drawing a blank right now for the name of this deck. I forgot. I don't know what it's called. Okay, one more shuffle. Y'all could be dealing with a Capricorn or an Aquarius. Libra or a Cancer. That's it. Maybe Virgo. All right, I'm gonna cut it. Cool. I'm gonna say that some of you probably are dodging a bullet, or some of you feel like you already dodged a bullet, so don't go back to that thing that you probably dodged. Or you might just be feeling like that in general. Anyway, the Four of Wands is at the bottom of the deck, so this is really good. This is talking about stability, and it's also talking about a great sense of self, you know, a stronger version of yourself. You see what I mean? This is a marriage card, but this is also kind of like forming a bond or forming a new contract with yourself, right? It's like loving yourself and being passionate about, you know, what you want and going after what you want because you know it's good for you, right? It's something that brings you pleasure as well. It's also not being afraid to take risks. Yes, don't be afraid of having something more or upgrading your life in some kind of way. You know, sometimes when we experience an upgrade or we want to change something about ourselves or our reality in a very real and tangible way, that means that we might have to give up or sacrifice something, you know what I mean? Or we might have to create certain boundaries so that we can be good on our own, or be good within ourselves, right? So this is also talking about self-love, as you know, for sure, right? And when you are good and when you've done the work on yourself, then you attract things that are meant to be in your life, right? That are suited for that higher vibrational energy or are suited for that more assertive energy that you are embodying. You know what I mean? So this is a positive aspect of embodying energy that isn't necessarily what you would do, because it does involve taking a risk and there being a little bit of a fear element involved, but you believe so much in yourself or believe so much in what it is that you're doing or what you're working on that you're not letting anything get in your way or stop you from experiencing this happiness or this joy and this pleasure, you know what I mean, that you are actually building for yourself, right? So it's talking about structure as well in your life and necessities, right? Boundaries for structure, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and lay the cards out because I've done enough talking. Let's see if I can actually make it through real quick. I'm laying out like a bunch of cards. Okay, so we got that. In the center of the reading, we have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is definitely talking about boundaries, but it's also talking about how far you can go and also a sense of safety, yeah? So you're kind of like, wait, I know how I feel right now when I'm going to trust my feelings and I'm going with my gut, and I know that I only want to go this far with it, or I only want to let you in this much, or I only want to, you know, I'm focusing on my feelings right now. I'm thinking about my feelings and what's going to make me feel good and what's going to bring me pleasure, right? This is also kind of like self-care, you know? That's very important right now. Right, the Pharaoh, which is the Temperance card. This is talking about bringing balance back to yourself spiritually, right? And also being artistic. So some of you need to be artistic, right? Or some of you need to craft, or some of you need to be creative in some kind of way, whether it's writing. You know, you could be writing poetry, you could be writing songs, you could be, you know, putting together or composing something, you know, to present to clients or to present to people or to use as your new model or whatever that is. You know, it does talk about innovation with this card being Temperance, because it is Sagittarius, it's Jupiter oriented and related, and it is also related to like gifts that you have, you know, like that you haven't used before, right? So some of us, we are tapping into the gifts that we have that we've never used before. And it's a boost of the ego as well, you know, doing something differently. That's pretty good. All right, the Prince of Pentacles is in the past, which is actually the Knight of Pentacles. That's Virgo. And this is talking about like that structure, like I said before. And it's taking your time step by step, you know what I mean? Being very practical and very logical, you know, not too much, because you don't want to overanalyze a situation. You want to let a situation unfold naturally. Don't force anything. And also don't let something sort of like to take you with it. Don't get carried away as well, right? So this is things being on a nice level playing field here, I believe. You're able to move with caution, or just work with this discernment, right? Focusing on what really matters and protecting yourself from any outside distractions, right? With the Prince of Pentacles or the Knight of Pentacles, focusing on the work, you know what I mean? Because you're getting you're making progress, and I don't want you to fall back, okay? So we have, right, exactly, the Hermit here. You're making progress. This is Virgo as well, but then it's also related to Sagittarius, which is the 9th house. And we have a wand here in the hand of the Hermit. So this is talking about, you know, new passions, right? Because even though it's the Hermit and it's someone who is old, it's talking about what you're now passionate about, that you've gone through an experience and you've calculated some things, or you've, you know, you've gotten all that you can get out of an experience, and it's also time to move on, right? And you realize that, and you know that, and you've put the past behind you. This is talking about evolution. It's also talking about circulation, right? And everything in life is very cyclical too, right? You know, it's definitely wisdom. It's that wolf. It's that, some of you might even be meeting a silver fox type of person. You know what I mean? Or you could be that for someone. Okay, but this is definitely talking about taking the knowledge that you have gathered from all of your dealings, you know, and you know, putting all of those things together to formulate something new for yourself. You're ready to have a new experience, and this is also kind of like focusing on your inner light, right? It's your inner light too. At the end of the day, you will still have that life force inside of you, right? Saying that, like, I do get bored with things. I do want to have new experiences. And sometimes I have to put up boundaries and have an experience all on my own, without the influences of the things from the past, right? So that's what this is talking about. Not letting your past get in your way, or not letting your past stop you, right? Which is why this is 9, and which is why it's related to the 9th house, because that wand is there, or fire at least, and we know that because it's a 9. But it's Virgo, and the moon too, 18, 1 and 8, cycles, evolution, growth patterns, okay? So, you know, we're focusing on your growth patterns. I'm gonna have to do 2 takes. It's not gonna be just 15 minutes. Okay, so wait, let's look at the moon position. Right. I love it just because it's like the wand is here in the Hermit. Right, we spoke about that. We talked about that. Okay, we talked about the moon and cycles and evolution. This card is in the moon position here. And it's talking about taking risks. Wow, what do you know? The first house is Aries. Hey, what do you know? This is Venus in Aries. We're talking about new starts. We're talking about fresh takes, right? New structures. What are we building? What are we focused on now? We have new intentions, right? Oh, new goals to new sight set. We have our sight set on something new, right? What's on the horizon for you? It's a clear path. Take it. You know? Don't be afraid to be something that you know you are, that you can't deny yourself. Especially if it's something that no one else thinks that you can do or can be or should do or should be. Maybe they wouldn't get it. It's because it's something that you know and it's something that you want, right? And it really is just something you are. So don't be afraid of what you are. And you know, it's overcoming something. It's overcoming an obstacle, definitely, that's been plaguing some of you. You know, if you've been experiencing some kind of difficulty that's been, you know, weighing on you emotionally and has made you feel like you just can't continue to go on, it's saying you can and you will. Because the Ace of Wands has to do with survival, right? So does the Four of Wands, okay? All of them, really, you know? Some of them have to do with survival in terms of how passionate you are to achieve something or to do something or to, achieve something despite whatever the obstacle is or whatever the hardship is or whatever, you know, intimidation factors you might experience. Despite all of that, doing it, continuing, right? Despite the fear of the sense of vulnerability and fear as well. Because with the Ace of Wands, there's a sense of vulnerability and fear too. Because it's like, oh, I am vulnerable to something. And, you know, I could be afraid, but I'm not. So that makes me less vulnerable. So you're less vulnerable now because you don't fear the way that you might have thought that something or someone would have made you feel, because you probably have already gone through that. So now it's like, yeah, I faced my fear, especially with the Four of Wands being here. This tells me I faced my fears because Venus originates in the second house of Taurus, and this is Aries, so this is her going all the way around. So she's been through it, right? So you've been through it before. Okay. All right. Y'all know I'm a little bit cupcake. So let me just go ahead and get to the next card here. All right, word. I mean, like what? The Magician. So, wow. It's almost like the moon position is always connected to the hopes and fears, right? Which are like the anxieties, right? Or whatever. Because there's anxiety that comes with fear, but then there's also a little bit of anxiety that comes with hope, because there's the intimidation, or there's the other, right? The other side of the coin. You know, what ifs, right? So many what ifs, right? Stop asking yourself what ifs. You know, this is a what if. This is also like a what if. This is also like a what if. This is also like a what if. No, just do it. Be that. Be that that you always wondered what it was like, right? And you probably feared one day what it might have been like if, and now you get that if, and now you're in it. So this is congratulations. This is what it would be like. Now it's time to focus on you, focus on your goals, focus on, you know, what your new purpose is. And this is having something in a new way, a different way. This is you changing your identity in some way, shape, or form, you know, because we are all multifaceted, right? That's why there are 4 different elements here, because there's something to pay attention to at any given time, right? Responsibilities. You have a responsibility to yourself first and foremost, and that's in all things. Your feelings, your thoughts, what you manifest, okay? And also what you do. You are the one. I am. Remember that. All right. Do you still remember? Just kidding. In your Mars position again, the Lord, which is the Emperor, connected to the Four of Wands here, right? Stability, you know? There's this newfound sense of respect for yourself that you have, and we're asking that you assert yourself continuously in this way, right? As you move forward, okay? This is you proclaiming something, taking your power back for sure. And that was indicated with the Four of Wands as well. Full circle moments, right? Full circle moments, for sure. And the Queen of Cups is here, in, emphasizing that energy of the moon, right? And the change and the full circle moments and things happening and things going well. We like that. But this is also like you having to sacrifice some things too, right? This is like, wow, I had to sacrifice a lot to get here. I finally got here, you know? This person had to go through a lot to get to where they are as well, you know? And that's what we're remembering. That's what we're not forgetting, you know? This is Aries, the Emperor, rules the first house, right? But then these are fours, so it's related to the fourth house of Cancer. So we might be dealing with emotional, patterns. We could be dealing with patterns of codependency, and we are dealing with how we maintain a sense of strength about ourselves, right? And also, like, sometimes you have to be a little bit rigid as well when you're trying to condition yourself in a new way, right? So it's like, you know what your weak points are, right? It's self-awareness too with these four of Wands and these aces and this Hermit. Self-aware. So you're your Emperor, extremely self-aware, right? What you want, determined, okay? Not really faltering on that, you know? You know what you want and you know what you need. Some of you could be dealing with Aries. Some of you could be dealing with Gemini. Some could be dealing with Virgo. There's a little bit of Cancer here, a little bit of Sagittarius, you know. So let's see what's going on in the relationships. Wow. This reading is incredible so far. Ace of Cups in the Venus position, talking about, what's going to bring you pleasure, what's going to bring you balance, what's going to bring you security, what's going to bring you hope. You know what I mean? And this is the self-love and the self-care, right? Like I said, emotional awareness too, right? Self-awareness. This is emotional awareness. Okay, and this is for going with your gut, listening to yourself, following your intuition, your first impulse, right? This is also, how you create emotional boundaries. And this is also, when you create boundaries, you also free yourself. So maybe some of you have freed yourself from the emotional attachment that you had to something, because this is kind of like a result of the 10 of Cups. You've had to let something go, perhaps. Maybe you had to sacrifice something to remember who you were at the end of the day, right? Again, this is related to the Magician. So it's about how you feel and what was important to you. This also is related to like emotional awareness. Some of you may even need to just hydrate more, drink more water, more electrolytes, okay? Some of you need to allow yourself to cry over the things that you haven't cried about or that you have been holding in. So if you've been holding some things in, you're about to release it and you're about to let it go, right? This is also just related to like, hygiene, cleanliness, to me. Right? This is like letting your fears wash away. When you show yourself self-love, right? And self-care in that kind of way, you almost kind of like are washing away all of the things that bring about like intimidation or insecurities, because you are strengthening the bond that you have with yourself and strengthening the bond that you have with spirit and with the life force or the creative force that is that we can't necessarily grasp or hold in our hand, So this is saying focusing on the things that are very important and fundamental to your emotional well-being, right? Remember that. Because sometimes you have to be willing to let some things go. People, places, or things. People, places, and things. You know? Also, this could be talking about a new relationship for some of you, because it is the Ace of Cups, and it's kind of like the overwhelming sense of how, like, I might be feeling right now about this person. Or you might just be reminding yourself that, you know, this is also Mercury direct. So this could be like feeling better, or maybe you just feel more, you know, sexually attractive, or you could just be feeling like because you are focusing on self-care and self-love, that makes you feel more attractive. You know what I mean? Hello. That's also therapy, you know, right? I would say. Let's see what these last few cards are. The Princess of Pentacles, right? So you're finding some value in that self-care and that self-love, right? And you're finding the time to put aside for that, right? And now, because you're focusing on what really matters and what's important, your goals, creating those necessary boundaries that you need to, right? Knowing what to keep in and knowing what to keep out, all right? Now you have change happening, real change. You're starting to see real change in your life, right? You're starting to feel lighter with these changes. You can handle the responsibilities a lot easier. They don't feel as tough now because you don't have the other shit attached to what it is that you were dealing, coping with, you know? Your circumstances are changing now, right? We like that. This is a new job, or this is something coming through. This is something coming in. This is a new investment. This is something that you're thinking about investing in, right? Or something that you're thinking about changing for your reality long term, because it's related to Saturn, because it's a page or princess, right? Something new is coming into form in some kind of way, right? Another page, Princess of Wands here, right? Yeah, you're seeing what you can do with this, right? So there's something that you have that you want to invest in, or there's an idea that you want to invest in, okay? It could be anything. It could be just for you. And this is like, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to start going into like, seeing like what this is about and how I can do it, you know? The Princess of Wands is also like using your gifts and your skills and your talents as well to kind of get you noticed or get you somewhere. Because, you know, the Princess of Wands is getting noticed, right? So this is kind of like a first glance, or at first sight, or seeing something for the first time, really a visual I'm getting here, you know? Because fire is very much visual. Like I can see it. You can feel it too, temperature-wise, but it's really something that you see that's visual, right? So it's talking, something is like interest, right, in this new look, or this new, the way you look, or like whatever that is, or somebody's interested in the way they look, or you're just starting to feel comfortable again, more powerful with your looks, right? You are more confident in your looks, you know, you have a more playful sense of being, if that makes any sense. And it's related to this Ace of Wands here as well. You have a lot of characters we have a lot of characters here with single wands. So it's single-handedly. Okay, and there's no hand there, but... Last card. Wow. All right. It'll work. Okay, it's the Rebirth card, and that's what I like to see at the end of the reading at the top. You know, this is a rising position, which is wonderful because Pluto does belong in the first house as well as the 8th house. And some would say the 6th house because they would say it's exalted there, but I would say the 5th house. Anyway, yeah. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is rebirth, right? It's regeneration, like I said before. And it's really focusing on a new beginning, letting go of what you can't control and realizing that some things are larger than you. I knew this was going to come up because I was thinking about this card all day before I did the reading. Some things are bigger than you and you won't be able to control them. You won't be able to control the outcome of some situations. But what you can control is how you handle and bring balance to your experience, especially when it becomes overwhelmingly intense and extreme, you know, and that's just the nature of things. It's really about survival, and survival, you know, that includes relationships, how you handle those. That's how you handle your money and your business. It's also how you think and how you strengthen your frame of thought, your perspective changing, right? Your concepts changing. All of those things are related to how you survive, right, in life, okay? So this is encouraging, right? That energy of Mercury going direct now, reinforcements happening. We're coming through some energy. This is almost like portal type energy here. But it is atonement, and it's finally realizing what the meaning of something was, what was behind the situation or behind the struggle, right? Because it has something to do with like a process of longevity and having to really like crawl through some healing aspects, right? Healing from, you know, past memories. Definitely relationships are completely attached to this, but it's also like your individual experience, you know? So it's like now we're not forgetting about how the relationships have affected us or left the impression, but we're remembering that it really is about us and how we see things, you know? And how we, it's reality as well. It's reality, it's imagination, it's all of those things, right? At the end of the day, it's really just going to be you. Concepts are always changing. We're starting to, you know, just realize, you know, meanings behind certain things that have happened to us. And we reconnect with nature differently, and we reconnect with time differently just because, you know, now some really extreme circumstances have caused us to put some real things into perspective, right? And it has changed our sense of reality. So the essence of reality has really changed for us, and your essence has sharpened, okay? Or it is sharpening, right? Because we're dealing with that with the Rebirth card and Pluto and the Judgment card and whatnot. Anyway, I need to get my ass out of here. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. It is Providence Tarot there. My personal account is NYC Kendrick. And if you'd like to get a reading from me, you can message me on any of those platforms, or you can email me at providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com. Okay, I will see y'all later. Take it easy.